Hey everybody, welcome to the... Oh, hang on a second. All right, that's better. Got that Christmas vibe going on. And, oh, come on, Steve, let's get your act together. All right, now we're in the mood. Oh, one more. All right, this is the December 2025 edition of Philosophy of a Photo Artist. Are we ready for this one? Let's do it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, this is dedicated to photography and as a photo artist, pushing ourselves out of the box creatively. All right, for the new people that have come on board here in the last month, and maybe in the past, maybe have not seen this video called The Philosophy of a Photo Artist. I put this out once a month, reflecting on some issues and things that came up in the past month. So I'm going to talk about things that sort of came up in the past November. And again, it's not my normal videos. The normal ones come out every Wednesday for you. So just, I want to get that clear. Sometimes I found like sound like a broken record, I should say. By the way, I apologize immediately for the goofy intro. Because in my opinion, you got to have fun with life. Life's too short. And with me, life is much shorter than most of you people. So sorry about the goofy intro. But if you are celebrating any kind of holiday here during the month of December, let's have a fun one and a safe one. All right. So let me outline what I'm going to cover here. If you stay to the end, which is going to be my fifth issue here, and that is I'm going to share a couple images that came from viewers of the channel, and I want to talk in depth about what they sent me, and we'll just wait till we get to that. That will be, again, number 5. All right, so the first issue I want to jump into is, again, something I'm committing myself to do, and that is a big thank you for everybody that has been supporting the channel by going to, and the link is right here and it's in the show notes, going to buymeacoffee.com/Stephen Photo Artist. I really appreciate it. And these are the names of the people that have actually donated to the channel. And by the way, I don't know what in the heck happened for November, but man, look at the list right here. And I'm going to have the screen capture right here. And so I'm going to talk about this for a moment, but if you want to see your name, because there's a lot of names there, maybe pause the video. But one of the things I wanted to talk about here quickly is that some of you actually donated 2 to 3 times. But unfortunately, your name is just listed once. That's pulled from buymeacoffee.com to showcase that. And that was all of last month for the month of November. So I thank you very much because, again, it's a small channel. And make sure if you're new to this, if you've never been there before, look at the extra tab. And the extra tab is where you can purchase things anywhere from $5 to $7. It's a way of supporting the channel, but getting something back in return. And there's like little videos there that share with you what is that, say, template about, that kind of thing. So if you're curious about it, you'll see that there. And if you want to purchase it, that's, again, another way of supporting the channel. So again, for the people there on the list, thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. Okay, number 2 we're going to get into. So let's take a look at the next issue. Okay, let's see. The second issue, more came through my private email, and that is some people are concerned that when they email me or even go to buymeacoffee.com, am I generating like a massive email list and I'm going to sell it to a third party, that kind of stuff, or I'm going to send things to that I want to sell to you or something like that privately through the emails? And the answer is no. This is not what I do for a living. For the ones that that are new to the channel and haven't been following me for a while, I was supposed to retire a little over 2 years ago, and I retired from being an international trainer all over the world, teaching Photoshop at these big conferences and stuff. And that was the end of 2016. And I just kept doing photography as a business, part-time always. And I just couldn't say no. I wanted to slow down and stop. And the last couple, like 2.5 years, I just couldn't say no. So this year, 2025, in May was my last client. I'm not doing it anymore. In other words, I don't need to worry about it. I'm very blessed, in my opinion, on this, but I don't have to do this channel to worry about paying bills. Like if I don't do enough this month, I can't pay my phone bill or my electric bill or something like that. I'm doing this because I love to do this. Yes, there's a cost to doing this. It's nice to recoup that cost. And I'm putting this money back into the channel. I mean, I might have to travel someplace if I want to do landscape photography. Well, even if I do it in my own state, there's a cost of traveling, staying in a motel or hotel and coming back. That's out of my pocket. So I'm just trying to recoup things. That's all I'm trying to do. So absolutely no, I am not selling an email list to anybody. I'm not maintaining an email list at all. The only thing I can extract, and that is from buymeacoffee.com, to show who actually donated to the channel, and they do not use that list at all. That's really, really important for you to know that. Okay, so that was the second issue I needed to clarify on this philosophy of a photo artist. Let's take a look at number 3, our next issue. Okay, number 3 again is not so much in comments. I got this in private emails, and I kept forgetting about it. So I did write it down in my journal of notes. I'm going to hope that I can do this. Maybe, I can't promise, I'll try to do it in January 2026, which is, hey, next month, or February. But I've got some requests. I'm new to Photoshop. I know very little. Could you do a session 100% on layers? And I thought that's a really good idea, because I'm assuming you have some type of background or knowledge. So we have a lot of people that are fairly new to Photoshop. So I'm going to assume that we know nothing about layers. And I'm going to take it from really low, basic stuff, and we're going to build on it. And I'll share with you the most typical things that are used as a photographer and photo artist in the layers in Photoshop. Now, I can't cover all bells and whistles. Again, this is starting elementary and moving you up. But to do that, it's probably going to be an hour long. I just need you to know that. So it's almost going to be like a mini course on layers in Photoshop. But I think that's a good idea. So yes, I plan on doing that for you guys. Again, I'd like to do it in the first, quarter of 2026. I'll try to do it in January, most likely February, but I've got that in my diary of things to do in upcoming sessions. All right, let's go take a look at number 4, and I got a few comments and emails on this one. So let's take a look at the next issue. All right, issue number 4 was a few weeks ago I had mentioned about the importance of shooting JPEG versus RAW, and I guess I have to clarify this a little bit because I got some comments and emails on this. The whole purpose of going out and shooting JPEG and not RAW is think of it as an exercise to hone your skills and using your camera. I want you to think of it, and by the way, this is not for client work, personal work, it's an exercise, okay? You're going to trash the images later after you look at it and review it. The whole point is, it's like if you shot film and say I shot a roll of film and I sent it out to have developed and it came back to me. Well, what am I hoping for when it comes back? Well, did I get the exposure right? Is it focused? If I did color, how's my color balance on that? And also, did I frame it right in my camera? No cropping allowed when you shoot JPEG. You're trying to frame it in your camera. So if you're thinking I may have to move back or forward, based on the lens you're using, but try not to crop, even though in reality you're going to do it. But the point is, that somebody had mentioned, not just, I think somebody made a comment, but I got some on email. Why don't you just shoot JPEG and RAW? Absolutely not. And the reason is if I did that, it creates a false sense of security that, oh, no problem. If I screw up, I always have the RAW file. Well, no. Get rid of that. Do not shoot both of those. Just shoot JPEG. So that gets rid of that false sense of security, and it's forcing you to think before you hit that trigger. So again, it's an exercise. That's all it is. Some people are making it such a big deal about this, and it's just like you learning to play a piano. I'm just starting, I'm taking lessons. Well, you know that if you're going to get any better at playing an instrument, what are you going to do? You're going to practice and practice and practice all the time. And the more you practice, the better you get. It's just a progression, right? But if you just do it once in a while, well, the odds of you getting better to the degree you want to, it's going to be very slim, okay? So think of this, again, as an exercise shooting JPEG, no matter what type of photography you do. If it's studio lights you're doing and you're really messing up on the lights, it makes you get better at this by making those mistakes after you analyze your JPEGs. You're going to throw it out anyhow. So again, don't make this a big deal. It's nothing more than an exercise, because when you do shoot RAW, I try to get as close as I can. So if I have to adjust my exposure, it's a little bit of amount that I have to do. My color balance, just a little bit, back and forth, that kind of stuff. If I have to crop, it's a little bit of cropping in, not a whole bunch type of stuff. So I just want to get better at using my camera and understanding lights and my strobes and things that I'm doing by shooting the JPEG. Okay, so that enough on that one. Let's get into the next issue, and that is the last one, and that is I'm going to showcase some work that a couple of photographers who watch this channel submitted to me. So let's get into that one. Okay, before we get into a couple images here, I just want to talk about this really quick. My email address, again, is right here at the bottom of the screen, stephenphotoartist@gmail.com. Please feel free to submit your images to me, just one or two. I mean, I don't want a whole bunch, but if you could do me a favor, if you do that, and I'll showcase it on the next, philosophy of a photo artist that will be coming out, once a month on a Saturday. And that is, let me know the technique that you use. Did you learn it from the channel here? What did you do? That kind of stuff. So I'm going to share that with you here with a couple of people that sent their images in. The other thing is I want to talk about before we get into the images, and that is absolutely no critiquing allowed. I am not going to critique your images, and let me explain why. I've learned this from my mentors, and I'm just going to mention a couple of them, but there's more than two. And these are from people who have made a full-time living in photography, not doing workshops and guest speaking at conventions, that kind of stuff. That came later in their life. So I'll give you number one, Peter Colson from Australia, who still does some client work once in a while, but I think he just turned 64 not too long ago. He's got a YouTube channel that you can subscribe to, whatever. He's got a special thing called Inspire, which is a couple $100 a year as a private member. That you get extra stuff. He does. He comes to the United States in 4 different cities once a year to do workshops, and I had privilege of working with him in the Chicago area about 3 years ago. It says the same thing. I will not critique people's images because you are an artist. I don't know what your vision is, and if I tell you what I would do, then it becomes my work. If you've been following me, you know that Joel Grimes is my number one mentor. If I had to pick one, he is the one. Same thing, he's in his 60s now. He doesn't do client work anymore. He doesn't have to. He did really good, almost 30 years of full-time in photography doing commercial work. And same thing. When I met him and I went to different workshops, but then I got to know him, I was invited to his home. I shot for a couple of days in his private studio with him, had dinner with him and his wife, Amy. I was working on something that, if you've watched some of my past videos about the Norman Rockwell type style I came up with for shooting children, and he saw that work, and I was still developing it, and he encouraged me to continue with it. And I said, well, do you critique images? And he says, absolutely not. Steve, you're an artist. I don't know what your vision is, but I'm going to tell you this. You're onto something that you're excited about. I need you to keep doing it at least 100 times on different subjects and stuff like that. Just don't do it a handful of times. You need to keep doing it over and over. And what'll happen is you will get better and refine the look at it over time. I can't explain why that happens, but that's what you've got to do. And that was a big life lesson for me in photography. So I'm going to tell you a quick story, and I'm going to jump into the 2 images here that came from 2 different people. So I wanted to set the stage on this. This happened to me quite a while ago, and I'm not going to mention the private group I belong to occasionally, but I just monitor what's going on with these groups and submit images once in a while. And when you belong to these groups, sometimes people just chime in and critique an image, and you're not requesting it to be critiqued. And so a photographer, she showcased on this, again, closed group in social media, that she does headshots. And she showcased one of the headshots she did. It looked like somebody that worked for a government agency or something like that. And it was a decent headshot. Well, the big laundry list of stuff below that, comments like, boom, boom, boom. I go, what the heck are they talking about? And one guy said, hey, it looks like you only used 1 light. I would have used 2 lights. And another guy chimes in, well, if it was me, I wouldn't have used 2 lights that way. I would have placed a light in front and one in the back to, get backlighting and the subject matter. No, I disagree. I would have used 3 lights. And they're all contradicting each other, right? And they're all battling back and forth. The photographers amongst themselves. I felt bad for the photographer that showcased that, because she didn't ask for this to be critiqued. And I'm thinking, this could destroy her, and put her into like a slump, whatever, with these comments. And I'm thinking, I need to jump in, but I didn't, because I'm thinking that's like throwing in, gasoline into the fire. I'm just going to make it worse. You know what the smart thing was to do? Contact her privately. 2 things. I asked, did the client like the image? Answer, yes. Second thing, did the client pay for your service? Yes. You're doing great. Just keep doing what you love to do, and don't listen to all that nonsense that's all confusing. Anybody who is, reading that stuff would put you in a state of confusion. Do what you love to do. Just keep doing it over and over again. And I said, because that's what I was taught too, and that is you will subconsciously refine your work over time, and you'll look at stuff that you did that you thought was pretty good, say 5 years ago, and you look at it and go, wow, look how far I've come along, versus, say 5 years ago versus now. So don't listen to that nonsense. Now, there's a difference on doing something like this. Hey, Steve, I'm having trouble with an image in this section of the image right there. What are some techniques I could use in editing software to make that not stand out so much? That's different. That is totally different, okay? So that's important to know as I take a look at these 2 images, and I'm going to make some comments about it, but I'm not going to critique these images. So let's take a look at the first image that was submitted to me. And again, please remember, I'm open-minded. Send your images to me. Tell me what techniques that you used, but I'm not going to critique the images. I'll just share the technique that you used with the viewing audience, and if they never saw that video, I'll put a link to that video, in the show notes. Okay, so let's take a look at the first one right here. And I apologize on this right up front. I don't know, because the email that came back to me, just give you some background, this particular person is from the other side of the pond, which means he's not from the U.S. When he says from the other side of the pond, I'm not sure what that means. Is it from the UK? It could be any other country, in Europe. But I apologize for this, because Harwood is the last name, but the first name is either going to be pronounced Barry or Bari. And I've known that because I've been to European countries, and the way I might pronounce something like Barry here in the United States, that's the way most people would say, it might be pronounced Bari. So Bari, I apologize on that, but let's take a look at your image right here. And he had mentioned that the technique he used was texture blending that I showcased a few months ago on this YouTube channel. If you didn't see this video, I'll put this in the show notes so you can go back and watch that. So Bari, again, you did a terrific job. You can tell this is an artistic feel and look. It's not a, quote, say normal photograph. This is an issue of you are now a photo artist. Remember the rule? A photo artist is somebody who uses the camera and software to create their art and vision. You did a great job. And by the way, I always forget to mention this too. Photo artists, for the new people, only follow one rule. And that rule is we don't follow rules. This is as simple as that. You just do what you love to do. We don't try to do stuff to satisfy the masses of the people. It's personal. We're doing what we want to do. So you did a great job. And by the way, for the people I'm not going to get into, but he had some major surgery. Best of luck on recouping 100% for yourself. Please enjoy the holidays. Make it a safe one and a great 2026 as we move forward. So you did a great job. I get excited and motivated when people find a technique or idea and they start to apply it. Remember that rule again that we follow a little bit? Inspiration really is not inspiration unless you follow it up with action. Otherwise, you have just been entertained. You haven't really been inspired. It's the action behind that makes it inspiring. So great job. All right, now we're going to do the opposite here and take a look at another image. And when I say by the opposite, I got you on the first name, and the first name is Bob. But you got me on the last name. There is no way I know how to pronounce that, and I'm going to butcher the heck out of that last name. Like a lot of people have trouble saying my last name, Nowatarski, but man, so Bob, again, great job. And if anybody doesn't know, the technique that Bob did was working with brushes with a painterly effect in Photoshop. And I did that again months ago, that video. If you didn't see it, I'll put a link in the show notes. And again, I love the fact that it has that strong painterly look, sort of abstract, but you could tell it's a bouquet of flowers, right? And I'm glad you did something, and that was you used the pattern that was included in that exercise. And by the way, Bob actually purchased the painting technique that I have on buymeacoffee.com because he got all these sort of extra things in a training video. But I love the look of it. Again, I'm just going to say the same thing I'm going to tell everybody else, and that is you just need to keep doing this over and over and over again, and you will find over time you'll start to refine. Don't limit yourself to only, say, a still life like this or flowers, unless that's what you like to do. But you might want to apply this to other categories of photography also to see how you could do with the painterly techniques that you use. So, Bob, you did a great, great job. I'm just going to push you, and that is keep doing it. As long as you love doing this, keep pushing yourself, and you'll find that you're just going to get refined with your techniques on this. So again, great job. So again, just before I end this, just as a quick reminder, I'm very open-minded for you people sending me an image or two to be showcased, again, on the channel. I need your permission to use both your first and last name. If you don't mention that in the email, then I will only use your first name and last initial. And I know some people don't want their full name to be a showcase, so I just need to know that. And again, I'm going to end the video here. By the way, I typically end most of the time, and that is get the camera out. Let's start shooting. Let's make mistakes. Why? Because we learn from making mistakes. Let's think creatively out of the box, and I mean literally out of the box. Until next time, see ya.